What up, you weirdos? Dave here, and I like knives. Here to talk to you today about the CRKT Amicus. This is another collaboration between Jasper Vroxnaz and CRKT, designer along with the Jettison and Jettison Compact, and Buku, and I guess this is the compact version of just a machete. The Amicus also comes in a compact form. This is the full size with stainless steel liners. I apologize. With a stainless steel frame. The compact, I believe, comes with a G10. Go away. I believe comes with a G10 liner on the, not a liner, the outside scales, thank you. Comes with G10 scales, and it's a little bit smaller. Not exactly sure how much smaller, because I'm great at this. This blade is smaller than something that is bigger than this at 3.5 inches. Have a handle length of almost 5 inches at 3 3/4. Width of 1.5 inches, and a depth of about 1/2 inch. A little bit more so, I believe. This, I don't often talk about weight in these things, but it's worth bearing in mind in this case that this is a large baby. It's a little heavy. I'm not sure the exact weightage on it, but you can feel it a little bit in your pocket. This bears a blade, I apologize for that, bears a blade of 8CR13 MOV steel with handles, handle frames, as I said earlier, of stainless steel. Now, there is a lot to like about this blade. For instance, the blade itself. Very simple, very shiny, as you can see there. Full flat grind, not super thick, not a super thick stock, thicker than I would prefer, but because it is the full flat grind, it kind of evens out. I do wish it was thinner though. Seriously, I want this to be thinner. But very good blade design, very, as I said, just simple. This is a blade that modders, and the Polar, I think. I think Jasper Vroxnaz also did the CRKT Polar. So I actually have a lot of his pieces. And I might be getting my hands on the CRKT Bantam soon, which is another one of his. So apparently I'm a bigger fan of Jasper Vroxnaz than I first thought. But much like the Polar, this knife is huge in the modding community because it's just very simple, and because it is satin polished, because of it's just a single piece frame lock, not a single piece, just there's no liners or scales, it's just the handle. It's very simple. Take it apart. There are 1, 2, 4 bolts. Take it apart. Throw it in the oven, anodize it, furnace, whatever you do, acid etch, and you can make some really cool stuff with this. So if you have a few minutes, look up personalized Amicuses, because there are a lot of people who have done some cool designs on this thing. People who see it as a canvas and thus paint it. Gorgeous. The pocket clip is also pretty solid. Once again, just simple, very strong. Ow. Very strong pocket clip, much higher ride than I want. I want a deep carry. I would prefer that bolt be moved somehow so that you can move the pocket clip further up. Maybe take that bolt out and make the pocket clip bolts go through all the way through. Seems like an easy solution, but you know, what else. It is only tip up and tip down on the right hand. So these are the only two places where it will go. Over travel stop, very neat to see these start making their way more and more into these budget folders. Right here, that bolt, you can see it actually in the space behind right there. That is a little piece of steel behind the lock bar that keeps it from coming out too far. So, were that lock bar not there, there is the possibility, however slim, of just taking this frame lock and ripping it out and pulling it so far that it no longer keeps tension and no longer locks. That keeps that from happening. And you can actually remove it for whatever reason. I'm not real sure why you would, but you can. Perhaps to clean it or to anodize it or something like that. Again, mod. So that's a very cool feature that I don't super care about because that's not a necessity in my lifestyle. But the fact that that feature is starting to make its way more and more onto budget folders means that these companies are caring more and more about these budget folders. So there are a lot of people who complain about the 8CR13 on most Cricut budget knives. And in fact, the reason that I haven't already jumped on the Bantam is kind of because of that. I'm trying to expand my horizons, and it's kind of a lateral step. But it's features like these that kind of, in my mind, kind of even it out. Because that's Cricut showing their dedication to this segment, I suppose. And that's pretty cool. Little details. Very, very specific, I know. But it's just the simple things like on the bolts, on the screw. Why do I keep calling it a bolt? There's a little bump there, a very nice design feature. It really is just the little things. The design for this whole piece is just so simple that any kind of design work really does stand out and kind of shows off. And I like that. The fact that it's straight back. Ow, my thumb hurts. The fact that it blends nicely into the handle. The fact that there's a little bit of milling on the frame lock. I like that. Obviously, I wish that the handle were milled out a little more to give you better access to that, blah, 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 make life easier and better for everyone. It'd be great. But thus kind of ends the reasons why I'm glad I have this. Now to the reasons why I can't carry it. That blade centering is not super great. However, to achieve that not super great blade centering, because blade centering isn't really something that I super care about, but to achieve it, ow, you have to cinch down on that pivot. So, there we go. No, that's a terrible sound. Let's make this a little bit easier to flick. Nope. Haha! Ow! My point is that this is very difficult to find the middle ground between good centering and good action. Between it not scraping on the side and you being able to open it quickly and easily. It's very difficult. And the pivot is so loose that even when you find that spot, you have to glue that quickly because it'll just move. It'll unscrew itself and leave you in a worse state. And that's very frustrating for me. under boo, I have centering, but really that's more an issue of the stiffness of the pivot than it is the centering itself. So what that means is it's kind of difficult for me to convince myself to carry this in an everyday capacity because it can be a challenge to open at times. And for lock as well, going back to it needs a cutout. As heavy and hefty as this lock bar is, I need help getting to it. I need more assistance actuating that lock because it hurts. Now, that's none of that is to say that this is in any way a bad knife. Like I said, going back to the little details, you probably can't see because my lighting's garbage, but the entire handle is milled out. So I complained earlier about how heavy it is, but in truth, it's not nearly as bad as it could be, because Cricket saw that as a possibility, or Yeesper, whichever one, saw that as a possibility and fixed it, and helped it, and milled out the interior of the handle. So there's a lot gored out right in here. So their issues, they saw, and they took steps to help, but not enough. So, while this is a good knife, it's a good piece, and for anyone in any way interested in Yeesper's designs, this would be excellent for you, because he kind of lives on the simple but functional. That's kind of where he resides. And this is as simple as it gets, and it's beautiful, and I love it for that. If you're looking for something to start your experience with modding, this or the Pilar, gold. Go to town, buddy. But if you're looking for something in just a simple everyday capacity, you can do better for the money. And so it's a good knife, but competition's too strong for me to give this a hearty recommendation, if that makes sense. Cricket sells this online for $60. The compact one with the G10 handles, I don't know anything about that. So everything that I've said about this may be completely untrue about that. The Jettison and its compact were worlds different, so just take that into account. So this is online for $60. The compact is for $50. This is online at Amazon for $39. Blade HQ for $38. I bought this from Walmart for $37. And I'm glad I own it, but I could have used that money on something else. So, out of 10 stars, I give this a... If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know down below. Other than that, you have a great day.